Dear Professor, Owens and fellow PhD, students, it's my pleasure, to do my presentation of the project on cross-cultural, ministry leadership. My topic that I've been working on is time management, core values for leadership in cross-cultural, ministry in times of change. Ghanaian, studies. Time and time consciousness. The idea is an idea, and that varies, by culture, by cultures. Some are punctual, others are a bit, relaxed and unpunctual. And Abraham and Moran observe, Germans, for instance, are precise about, time, while many Latin Americans are more casual, towards time management. It's been observed that people who are from individualistic cultures tend to move fast, and time is of essence to them. They consider time is money, and every moment counts, to them. While in Ghana and other sub-Saharan, African countries, the pace is quite, slow, probably because of the collectivism, culture, where there is, so much, they are so much, relaxed towards attitude. Having an attitude towards time is, much, relaxed. Ladiman, talks about his experience of working under a Nigerian, boss from another, culture. He's a Westerner, and a Nigerian is an African, and he booked an appointment, with his boss, and apparently the boss, didn't, really, find, time to the time of the appointment, even though he waited for several hours. But at the end of the day, here's what he said. He said that I thought he was rude to discourage the appointment, but he taught me, time is not to be dichotomized into artificial, blocks. Massini, 2003, posited that time management is deeply embedded in culture, and Massini went on to their studies found to have two major global approaches, to time and time management, and the table below really gives us a fair idea of how time management issues, are to be approached as cross-cultural leaders. Even as we move into another culture, we should be aware of all these time, differences, how people tend to perceive, time as far as, their culture is concerned. And we have the liner, the type 1, and then the type 2, which is the overlapped, attitude. And the table really, gives us an example of countries like the United States, Canada, Germany, Switzerland, and then the Scandinavian, countries. They are more time conscious when it comes to tax. Their tax are kind of in-person their own time, and they are precise about their schedules, they are punctual, they are clearly, stated goals, and they are task oriented. They are very active and very structured in a manner, and in their businesses, they socialize at work. Socialization at work is, much minimal. In fact, it is discouraged. And business, starts, ends early in a day. Efficiency is so valued as far as time management is concerned, and procedures and routines are clearly defined. But on the other hand, we have countries like Africa, which is Ghana. That's the more reason why I'm studying time management in relation with cross-cultural, ministry. Africa, Middle East, Latin America, Southern Italy, and the rest. They are, kind of a loose, schedules, unpunctual. The goals, are not, often, stated. They are socially oriented. They are relaxed, very flexible to time. They socialize at work, which is so common. Business starts late and ends, late. Efficiency is less important than, people. So they tend to place much emphasis on personality, leaders, ego. How do we defeat this procrastination, which is a thief of time, attitude in Ghana? Because in Africa, in Ghana, we have a perception that we terrible timekeepers, and from a biblical perspective, we seen in the narratives of the Felix and the wife Drusilla, who miss, the opportunity for salvation because of procrastination. They invited Paul to come and preach to them, which Paul did. And at the end of the day, after analyzing the whole, message of salvation from Paul, he said, "Oh, you go. I'll think about it, and I'll call you next time." So at the end of the day, Felix, lost that, opportunity because of procrastination of time. Now, how do we defeat, procrastination? The thief of time continues. According to Massini, time management experts have identified these 8 most typical causes of procrastination, namely: 1, the task seems unpleasant, and 2, task seems overwhelming. When task seems overwhelming, people tend to procrastinate. 3, task when task flow is unclear and unplanned. And 4, your goals are unclear. 5, you fear change. When people fear change, they tend to procrastinate. And when people fear failure, they also tend to procrastinate. And then people tend to overcommit sometimes. And so it is good we let our no be no, our yes be yes to whatever activities we have. And when the people are addicted to cramming, as cross-cultural leaders, we must be able to conquer any procrastination tendencies by way of strategic planning. And we should be able to develop clear schedules and set up our goals as we constantly sharpen our time management skills. We need to be proactive or reactive, and we know the results. When you are proactive, you tend to manage your time very well. But if you are a reactive, cross-cultural, leader, then you are going to be more relaxed and do things on your own pace, and end up not meeting deadlines and appointments and stuff like that. So while we all get the same amount of time in a day, not everyone gets the same results. What is important is we have to prioritize and make the right choice, to be able to execute whatever divine assignment we have as missionaries, wherever we may find ourselves across the globe. Effective, strategic and cross-cultural, global leaders constantly must be able to adapt and innovate. And if this slide, really, particular class or course, so to speak, I've learned, very important lessons, out of this particular course, and the class has shaped me how to approach cross-cultural, ministry today with effective time management. Okay, according to a BBC News, international journalists, in the UK were kept waiting by the king, the king of Ghana's largest, ethnic, group, who was visiting the Alexandra, Palace in the northern London, to climax, a trade exhibition. The journalists, all the international journalists, waited for, over 2 hours, and our king didn't, show up till they packed and left. And after they left, he showed up. So that is, one classical example. Another example too is, personally, I attended a wedding recently. Thank you very much, Prof. Owens and fellow. I look forward for your questions.